I'm pretty sure that every worship team member has been fed up with sound check at some point, if not every week. Although there are probably several ways to perform an efficient sound check, I'll walk you through the process I've settled into after 10 years mixing sound. This video is brought to you by Behringer X32 Mastery, the fastest way for church sound techs to master the X32. And with a team license, you can enroll unlimited team members now and in the future. Finally, everyone will be on the same page. Visit x32.church or click the link in the description to learn more. Most churches have the luxury of the same team members week after week. Others have rotating musicians or will occasionally have a new member on the team. When this happens, the first step is to set gain for everybody who is not on the team the previous week. Now, you should also develop the habit of checking gain on every channel at the beginning of every rehearsal, even if they were on the team last week. There's always a good chance that the guitar amp or keyboard settings are not in the same place that they were last week. And there's a lot of confusion around the purpose of gain, which is why I created a video all about how to set gain the right way. I'll include a link in the description. All right, the next step is to set the monitors. If you don't have the technology that allows band members to adjust their own monitors, you'll need a pair of headphones on hand. Before taking orders from each band member on what they want, have the band play through an entire song. And then while they're playing, put on the headphones and listen to each monitor mix, making adjustments to give them a nice, even mix. Of course, if it's a vocal monitor, have the vocals a bit louder than the instruments, and vice versa. Once this is done, ask if anyone needs changes and adjust accordingly. But don't let band members approve this privilege, or way too much time will be spent on monitor mixes. Not sure how to listen to monitor mixes on headphones? What you want to look for is the PFL, AFL, or solo button next to your aux or bus send fader. When engaged, you'll be hearing the monitor mix instead of the main mix in your headphones. All right, the final step is to set your main mix. And the best way to do this is to simply have the band continue practicing. The more they play, the better. You may need to communicate this to your worship leader if too much talking is taking place. At first, I like to start with the faders all the way down. Then as they're playing, use the following sequence to get a solid mix. First, bring up the kick drum and bass guitar until you have a nice solid foundation with plenty of energy in the room. Then bring up the other instruments to the appropriate place for the song. At this point, the sound should fill the room. Next, bring up the snare drum until you can feel its energy and punch, and then mix in the toms and overhead microphones to complete your drum mix. Now, mix in the background vocals so that they blend in with the instruments. And then finally, bring up that lead vocal until it sits right at the top of the mix. Keep in mind, you will need to use EQ to get everything married together instead of clashing with one another. And I have a video dedicated to the most important EQ techniques. I'll include a link in the description. So you've achieved a great mix. Awesome. You can just set it and leave it, right? Wrong. Every song should have a different sound. One song may have a prominent electric guitar, while the next may have a prominent keyboard part instead. A good sound tech listens to the original track for each song several times through so they can understand how it should be mixed. Here are some things to listen for. What's the lead instrument? Was it electric guitar, acoustic guitar, keyboard, synth? Where do the other instruments fit in the mix? Are they audible, or are they so blended that you can't really even pick them out? Where are the background vocals? Are they right under the lead vocal or mixed in with the instruments? With this strategy and these questions at your fingertips, you'll find it much easier to create a great mix every week. If you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'd be glad to answer. And if you'd like to see more videos like this, give me a thumbs up to let me know. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the little bell so that we can let you know when a new video comes out. I'll see you next time.